Hello everyone, this is Professor Reha, back with the Grim Dawn walkthrough. Now, I anticipate that very likely I will be able to finish the main campaign here, despite the fact that there is another rift present in the necropolis. It's not that large of an area. It looks pretty large, and it can take a little while to get through, to be completely honest, depending on how effective your routing is, and what areas happen to be blocked and which ones are not. But overall, it's not that bad. It's not nearly as large as it looks on the map there. Definitely looks a lot larger on the map than it does in actual terms of traversal. How cute. They're using ice damage against me. There's the plate mail, that's fine. Alright. Good old book here. So we'll just go on ahead. I'm going to go through most of the necropolis so you do see kind of what the areas are. These little walls here will occasionally be open or not, depending on what's going on there. So that's really what decides how easy it is to maneuver around the necropolis. So, oh wait, what are you doing back here? There you go. Silly little bungus. Which is my family's nickname for them. Because they're so thick. That's with 4 C's of thickness these guys got. You know, what's the point of being a weird, undead, possessed monster if you can't be thick at the same time? You know what I'm saying? A lot of these aren't going to be as good as the Praetorian Chest Guard, just in terms of the armor, the stat upgrades, the resistances. It's just generally not going to be worth. Now, for this particular location, and this is actually the location which got me into the habit of doing so, this is a location where you will be looking at your map a lot, because you are going to be trying to plan out your route around the walls as you encounter them, and they're much easier to notice on the map, of course. Arcane Wheel just activated, I just heard it. This guy is slowing down my attack speed, which is mildly problematic. A Flesh Warped Cask, let's see how this does compared to the other one. That's a lot of health. That is a large quantity of health. But that's really its main. Physical damage retaliation is nice, but less offensive and defensive ability, so overall that's not as nice. Also keep in mind that AoE effects are going to be unusually effective here, simply because most enemies aren't going to have the kind of room to just not be nearby when you activate something like that. So you'll notice that my setup as it is now is going to be unusually effective here, because there's just not enough room for people to wander around and not get hit by any of my stuff. There's Arcane Wheel, good. Means I get to really hit hard. There's Menhir's Will, alright. Freezing me, that's just nonsense. Come on, there you go. Boom, nice. Excellent, excellent. Oh, you are definitely one of the amalgamations. No, you're not. Okay. I can never tell the difference. Personally. Use that energy potion. Get rid of some of the zombies back there. We have Menhir's Will activated, so that's fine. We'll just get rid of you really quick. Zeal triggered, which is nice. And then you're gonna go ahead and do your spiel there. Nobody cares, guy. There we go. Uh-huh. And this is still gonna be pathetically weak, so Menhir's Will activated, so you have absolutely no hope of fighting me at this point. You can summon all the peeps you want. It will not help you. There we go. Not even a problem. Oh, there's stragglers. Nonsense. Take care of most of these guys in one fell swoop. You survived pretty nicely, so did your little soldier friend. Not for long. There we go. Oops, stuck on this. Gonna go ahead and activate that energy potion. There's diddly squat over here, which is a little unusual. Usually there's some kind of like a chest over there or something. Get rid of you really quick. Arcane Wheel activates, which is good for my energy. See the difference in energy regrowth when Arcane Wheel is activated. It's quite a substantial difference. That crystal over there is also beaming me, Scotty. I'm more concerned that it's an amalgamation and will be quite dangerous to trigger now, so I'm going to actually wait a second on that one. Yeah, we'll just use a health potion, we're fine. Energy potion for good measure. Blast everyone out here, get rid of you. And you're gone. You're gone. I just gotta get rid of you. And there we go. Yeah, you're big, strong, and tough. You're from Russia. Big and strong. Yes. Walking along the cove. I believe that's how the song goes, right? I can't quite remember. Every time I hear that song, it has an echo effect on it. I don't know if that's just because everyone keeps putting an echo effect on it, or if that's actually from the song. So it's a little hard to understand the words whenever I do hear it. It's a meme at this point, I know, so I hear it all over the place. Go ahead and boost that up. A totem. Interesting. Okay. There's usually a totem in the necropolis somewhere. It's simply a matter of finding it. This is not where I usually find them, at least personally. I mean, I have seen them here before, but I just wasn't expecting it here. This is, like I said, I don't know if I'm cursed or whatever, but it usually spawns elsewhere. You can tell that the totem really is posing a challenge for this build. Yes, damage reflection. Oh, horror of horrors. Spoop of spoops. You activated Menhir's Will. Congratulations. Hello. Alright. It's two-handed, so we don't care. I don't do enough lightning damage to make that worth it. That's pets. That's a gun. That's a one-handed weapon that does too much lightning damage to be worthwhile. The resistances aren't good enough. I don't do chaos damage. I don't do vitality damage. That's interesting. That's potentially interesting. Except for the small problem that it doesn't have the aether resistance, the armor is too low. The aether resistance is something we do need. We've only got 18%, which is not what you want to see here. But we have systems to protect us in times of dire aether need. It's not that big of a problem. Again, I am going to go through most, if not all, of the necropolis, just so you all can see it for the first time. And boom, there we go. We're just going to make sure there's no one here. Nope, okay. I'm going to pop over here. Just whack my way through these people really quick. Nice, clean trip. It's just a wonderful little... Yeah, he'll, you know, kick me around a little bit. We'll fight. You'll notice I didn't use any energy because I had Arcane Wheel active at the time, and I wanted to take advantage of that for its energy regen. So, that is why. Especially since it was a mono-a-mono fight, there wasn't really any need to use any other abilities, especially since I knew I had it in the bag. So it was worth just waiting around and doing it slowly so my energy could regen from Arcane Will rather than having to use a Elixir of Spirit later on, which would just have been silly. There goes Arcane Will again, so we'll take this a little slow. We'll go ahead and blast these people the old-fashioned way. There we go. And you're toast. There we go. Come here, son. There you go. Frozen core doing some work. Oh, hello. That's very nice. Okay, so what I'll do is, yes, I am going to equip this. I'm not using necessarily everything the Flesh Warped Cask is utilizing here. I'm not using Warcry, I'm not using Escondra's Elemental Exchange. We don't need the 30% pierce resistance so much because we're 40% over maximum. And additionally, this will give me 15% physical resistance, which will come in handy for obvious reasons. We maintain almost the same levels of offensive and defensive ability. We get some extra blocking, which is really nice. And depending on what shield we get in the future, this could become more useful. So we'll go ahead and slap that right on there. That doesn't mean that I won't eventually, obviously, I'll be taking it off. It is a very generic set that it can be used with any shield-bearing set. I believe this also boosts shield. Yeah, shield damage blocked. This is shield percentage blocked? No, this is just shield damage. Sorry, I thought that one was increasing the shield block chance, not the shield damage amount. Pardon me. Still useful, but I thought the helmet did something a little different from the chest piece. I was incorrect. There's another mutant bludgeon we'll have to look at. Eventually I'm going to wind up getting like Flesh Warped Casks that are level 94 or whatever. 80 whatever, so there will come a time when I will get extremely late game Flesh Warped Casks. Before that I'll probably have already swapped off some of the Praetorian set. Now, keep in mind that it's saying negative 294 damage because Severed Claw's presence. So factor that out mentally for a bit and just compare the damage. The damage on the Superior Mutant Bludgeon, even discounting Severed Claw, is just not as good. It's just not a good enough piece of chest armor to merit that use. This is not a good enough shoulder plate, especially in the defense. This shield is just silly. And so is this chest piece. Vitality damage? I don't do that, thank you. Come on, hit me. What is this weak sauce you got here? Yeah. Go around and slap me. There's Arcane Wheel. Good, thank you. Increase my energy regen. Do me a favor. There we go. There probably, yeah, I was going to say there should be a couple people over here because this is where I blasted one of those guys across the wall. We're good now? Okay, so we'll just head north. Kick this body over. Excellent, excellent. Now there is a fairly interesting blacksmith that I'll talk about that's kicking around as well. I can't 100% remember where he is. I'll recognize the location when I see it. He's fairly important because he can make a few things if you have the recipes that a couple of other people can't. At least I believe it's recipe tied. I can't quite remember. I don't use him very often. I don't craft in the late game that often, which is primarily when you're supposed to craft with him. So, yeah, I don't use him that often. So sometimes I forget what he can do. I'm going to go ahead and use an energy potion. My energy's looking a little low for me there. These enemies are just not strong enough to activate Arcane Wheel frequently enough, honestly. I'm not going to probably see dangerous enough enemies until maybe the boss before the final boss, possibly. Definitely not these weak punks. Okay, good. That means that there'll be another quest we can do with her. Which is, you know, whatever. So, over here we have, you can see where there is a dungeon. That's a tomb. Fairly short trip. Not a bad idea to go down it. There we go. Slap you around. Capital. You're not even dangerous. We'll go down here because we're going to go down here really quick just to make sure there's nothing around. Enemy-wise that we can kill. At this point, we're going to be pretty aggressive about killing enemies because loots. I don't think there's going to be that many enemies down here, if any. There's these two, yeah. I'm sorry, these four. Yeah, there's not going to be anyone through that gate. Only the enemies are a bit stronger. Ah, well, into the crypt we go. Good old Black Sepulchre. These guys mostly do, like I said before, vitality and I think piercing? Physical, obviously. But they're kind of nonsense. And ghosts. I always forget there are ghosts in here, honestly. I always just think of this as a Wendigo location, but there are ghosts in here. I keep forgetting this. I always forget this. Doesn't make a difference, because quite frankly, you probably have the protections you need, or the resistances is the official term. The resistances you need to get through here pretty easily. You've dealt with ghosts before. This is not a surprise. You've dealt with Wendigos before too, actually. So none of this is going to be particularly surprising. A nice quick jaunt through some pretty familiar enemies. Skeletal Gargantuan, which we're going to want to get rid of pretty soon. Stun him really quick. It activated in the wrong order again. Okay, fair enough. And then here's Will activated, which is fine. Did it again, but that's alright. I'm going to go pick up that Chilled Steel really quick. There we go. Force Wave is huge in this place. You can see just the straight line. Absolutely massive damage output here, just working my way downtown. Killing fast. Talking slow. Oh, hello, 2 heroes at once. Well, that's fairly nice. Bring it on, son. Uldraken. Yep, sons. Bring it on, sons. There we go. Slap you guys around a little bit. Make that energy potion. You're gone. Seer's Assault Helm of Scorching. Possibly useful, but unlikely. Probably not enough to remove my... No, that's actually terrible. Don't need that either. Hello, the Dreadfire. Yeah. If I had Reckless Power, this might be worth the equip. Otherwise, no. It is a fun little knife, though. Generally speaking, when I am equipping that, I am a Necromancer with either the Oathkeeper or the Demo. Demo is pretty... the Oathkeeper Demolitionist is a pretty common combination with me, honestly. Alright, good. And hello. Oh, hello. What are you doing, guy? That's nice. I'm so happy for you. Get out of here. Get out of here. There we go. By the way, that area to the left is the guaranteed next way to go, so this way is going to wind up being a dead end, which I'm going down just to show you, you know, it's kicking around over here. Unless, of course, it's one of those extremely rare times. I don't think this ever opens up, actually. I was going to say, unless it's one of the rare times that it opens up, but I don't think it ever does. I've never seen this area open up before. So, boom, blam. Get out of here, punk. Yeah. There we go. It's its own self-contained area. Like I thought. I was going to say, if this is open, it'll be the first time in my entire life, and they must have absolutely massively changed how this works. They did not. Oh, Frost Revenant, that's why you're such an issue. But I have way more than just frost damage, guys, so you're still toast. Just take that from there, a lot faster. Alright, so off we go. don't forget the chest. Full of delicious bits. So important. Well, actually, I spend a lot of bits, don't I? Alright. Clean. We'll just go ahead and take care of this really quick. Void Touch of the Abyss. I already know it's not going to be something I need. I can already tell just from the keywords that it's nonsense to me. Hello. So busy looking at the map, I didn't even notice I was being attacked. It's not like I was taking any damage. There we go. You're just gonna die, so that's fine. Oh, hello. Think you're gonna have cronies? Got news for you, son. Actually, I don't know what you would be. Individual. There's Arcane Wheel, that's fine. Not Arcane Wheel. Then here's Will. Slap, slap, slap. No problem. Oop. Getting a little bit arrogant there, but I caught myself. We're going to go around the long way again just so you can see it. When I go through here in Elite, I may or may not necessarily cover the entire maps. I probably won't need to. At least not in Elite. Ultimate might be a different story depending on where I am level-wise after Elite. But in Elite, I probably won't necessarily be going through every area I can get my hands on. So, like I said, this is primarily for educational purposes that I'm going through as many of these areas as I am. So that way any of you new players can see all these locations and be able to better prepare for them in your games. Excuse me. Have a better understanding of the damage types that are going to be present in these locations, the kinds of enemies you can expect to see in these locations, most if not all of the secrets, depending on whether or not I remember them. Which is an entirely different question. Oh, spiders always spawn in here. They spawned a little bit farther out than I'm used to, but no difference. Hold on. There we go. I was hoping for something useful. Every once in a while, I'll get an epic or a legendary item out of like one of those little bone piles, so it's always worth checking them. Ideally, you have a projectile attack that's long enough range that you can use to consistently hit those from a nice long range, so you don't necessarily have to do all that backtracking that I tend to do out of just really bad habits. Blam. There we go. Like this. Of course, I don't necessarily have the kind of energy to support this kind of using the abilities from long range to open these things up, but whatever. I've got guts. And we're just going to take out these guys. Open that up while we're doing so. Oh wait, you're still alive. We can't be having this. There we go. I will go this way because it's a chest over here. It all leads to the same place anyways. Just like all roads lead to Rome, all paths lead to the end of the Black Sepulchre. Another decaying, well, another special wormhole. Which is fair enough, I guess. Oops. Oh, hello. You didn't get stunned or frozen at all. You must have been around the corner. There you go. Just get rid of you guys really quick. Yeah. Not really a problem. Slap you. Open this up. Great, thanks. Revolutionary. Go around the perimeter here. Actually, I don't technically need to go around the perimeter because I'm going to have to... You unfortunately do have to walk out of here, which is mildly painy, but... What do you got, punk? That's right, activate my Arcane Wheel. Go ahead. Activate Minions Wheel, too. I can't freeze you. I didn't think I could. I'm just gonna probably mostly cadence you, honestly. Just a lot more efficient. If only I could hit anything. That'd be pretty helpful, too. There we go. There's my Hero's Will. I'll be surprised if I even have to use a health potion, honestly. Come on, there you go. I apologize if you hear a weird noise. I keep accidentally punching my mic. I'm not sure how I'm managing this. But here we are. There we go. The Empowered Callistorian Gavel. Yeah, that's a lot of fire damage that I don't necessarily need. Lightning damage is nice, but ultimately the physical damage we're getting out of the bludgeon is better. The Manifestarius, or the Empowered Manifestarius. Good old Manifestarius. That doesn't have the resistances we need. Hold on. Disappointing. But we did get a devotion point, which we can slap into... We're going to... That's right. Oop. Oh yeah, I forgot how this works. We'll do that. I just whacked my camera around by accident. If you're wondering how to do this, at least I hold down the middle mouse button. Or I press down the scroll wheel to do that, and then I move left and right. If you want to know how to do that, I don't personally ever care to, so I just don't. I just prefer the default way, because it's what I'm used to, but that's just me. So we gotta walk all the way out of here, which isn't that long of a trip, but it's still a little painy. It would just be really nice to see something that gets you back to the entrance really quick, like they do with a couple of other of the dungeon areas. Just be really convenient. But we don't have that luxury, so we'll just have to do it the old-fashioned way, with our foots. Well, there's these random spiders that I apparently didn't kill the first time. Unless they spawned after the fact, which is entirely possible. Just readjusting my position here. So, yeah, this is going very smoothly at this point. Just the skill combinations that I've got are really good for this location. They're just really good in general, but it's just the ability to lock down a whole bunch of enemies and then blast them with extra damage because their resistances are down is quite powerful. As I've clearly been demonstrating this pretty much whole walkthrough. Now this does change a little bit in the late game. Like I said, a lot of enemies will gain some partial resistance to the combo because they'll be resistant to one element or another at minimum. So there is that issue. It doesn't necessarily move into the late game particularly smoothly, which is a little unfortunate, but it's kind of like, well, for something this effective at keeping you alive, that is a bit of a trade-off. Obviously nothing's perfect, but it's still a fairly interesting time. I'm gonna go over to the other side there, mostly because I need energy. So we'll just waltz on. I thought I could break that jar, but I cannot. Hello. Just whack all of these guys. This is totally fine. There we go. And easy. We just kill you straight up. Please, get me. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you. Please keep hitting me. Thank you. Keep me low enough that my energy can come back really naturally. Thank you. This is excellent. That's what I'm talking about. No, you're not going to do anything of the kind. Didn't even get the chance to attack me half the time. Oop. Silly of me. This waltz. Ah, here he is. The famous Blacksmith. You know, if these had resistances, this would have been really good. So, he's almost a fairly standard blacksmith. There are a couple of things he can make, but honestly, it doesn't make a huge difference until, like, ultimate, for the most part. Anyways, we're not going to have anything we need, really, to do anything here with. He can... I forgot about this. This is his biggest... This is what he does. He can convert items from one kind to another. So if you need Bloods of Cthulhu, you can basically convert an Ancient Heart into a Blood of Cthulhu. If you need an Ancient Heart, it's a Brain Matter. If you need a Brain Matter, it's a Blood of Cthulhu. You can convert these three into the other ones. This is his big deal here. I completely forgot about this, and the reason why I completely forgot about this is because I almost never use this. I personally would rather grind for materials than convert one to another. The number of times I've used this is like twice when I was playing with other people, and of course when you're playing with other people you can't necessarily grind. That's the only time I really use this particular feature. The rest of the time for like solo games, solo runs or whatever, I grind. I just grind the materials because it's going to first off get you experience, second off you have a chance of picking up something cool if you're past level 50, which is really the only time you'll probably need to be grinding for the most part anyways, barring a few exceptions. And 3, quite honestly, obviously converting one material to another is, it means you don't have the other material, the one you converted from. So it's not like you're getting a net gain here, you're just switching from one to another, and it's just not something I'm particularly fond of, simply because, like I said, grinding is generally better. And just repeat myself one time, I do only really use that when I'm playing with my family, because, again, you don't really grind when you're playing with other people, because everyone has to be interested in grinding. Sometimes we all need the same material, in which case we'll go on a group grinding run. That's very rare. So, that's the only time I've ever thought to myself, boy, am I glad he's there to do that for me. But otherwise, it's just absolute nonsense. And I always, and if you do use that feature, be aware of the fact that at some point you will have to grind for whatever material you converted. All that's really doing is forestalling the grinding and possibly changing what you're grinding for. Now, this can be potentially useful if you're a particular class combination and you're looking to, for example, simultaneously grind for better equipment of your class combination. To throw out the most common example for myself personally, I really like playing Occultist. It's one of my favorite classes. So often I want to be grinding for the Bloodsworn Scepters because they're incredibly powerful, monster-infrequent weapons for Occultists. So, in that particular case, if I wanted an excuse to grind for those more often, I could convert my Bloods of Cthulhu into whatever amount of tainted brain matters I needed for whatever blacksmith projects I was trying to work on. And then from there, since I would be converting my Bloods of Cthulhu to tainted brain matter, then I would have a surplus of tainted brain matter and just be grabbing a whole bunch of Bloods of Cthulhu. Now, this is something of a bit of a stretch of an idea, because you wouldn't necessarily want to convert all of your Bloods into tainted brain matters, or all of one material to another, unless you have a very specific idea in mind, and you just need that last individual one, and you know it'll wipe out your inventory, but you don't care. That's fine. But for the most part, I've generally not found it to be worth it, because I will have to grind back something. It's simply a matter of what. Sometimes I can make this work in my favor, sometimes not. It really depends upon the situation. We're going to temporarily ignore that shrine. There's a couple of other places I want to wander around here. That's my second Chthonic Seal Binding, which is really good because I ran out earlier today. So that's really nice. I'm actually going to see if they can get me down to Arcane Wheel. There it is. There's Arcane Wheel. It immediately turned off again, so that's, a good time, but We'll just let it happen quite organically. There we go. And then here's Will activates, but that's fine. No, I am not another soul or another blood bag for you. You're gonna have to get over yourselves. There we go. Activate this. Hello. Oh, Zeal, nice. Bring it on then. Excellent. He'll be gone in a hot second here, guy. Actually, can we, like, move you around so I can hit both of you with my force wave? That'd be hyper convenient. That kind of works. There we go. Come on, guy, hit me. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Nah, not high enough armor. Doesn't look like they do enough resistances either. Nah, not really. Not really. That's another spicy point here. Nice shield boosts. Excellent, excellent. You absolutely love to see it. Isn't there something? No, this is... I didn't even need to come over here, excuse me. So we're almost at the final rift of the game, which is another Necropolis one. You have to fight through it, then you have to have the conversation with... Well, you don't have to have the conversation, but if you want context, you can. And then you go down to one other little thing and go whack the final boss. You'll see what it is. I'm only 36 minutes in, so I will just wind up finishing the main campaign here. Just for the kicks. I'm not going to leave you on the edge of your seat, because the final dungeon is not long at all. It's a fairly linear path with a couple of small deviations, a very interesting secret, and tough-ish enemies. So, it's a good time. It's a good time. We enjoy ourselves. So, let me see here. Yes. Oh, hello. Bonus turds. Use that energy potion. Yeah. Just fling the eyeball everywhere. It's fine. There we go. Boom. Kablam. Excellent. And that's not really, likely to be good. I don't do vitality damage, so we have nothing to convert. There's an area over here. Here we go. Yeah, but I have much better things. My good old royal... Where did you come from, guy? Excuse me. You even activated Zeal, which was very silly of you. Alright, this is a pretty big fight that's going to be happening here. I'm not really worried about it because I do have all of this AoE damage that I'm doing, so it's pretty much fine for me. I'm going to go down here and whack these guys really quick so they don't come in and interfere, though, because mild paranoia, but it's fine. There we go. Yeah, you can begin to kiss my foot, or have an apple. And here we go. And we'll just slap you around. It's not even a problem. Some heroes who think they're going to hurt me, but they're not. They look big and scary, but they're actually weak sauce. There we go. Actually, we'll hit Shar Ruth here first. You haven't even activated him in here, Spill people. Come on. This is pathetic. I'm not even sure they're going to. Oh, there we go. I was going to say. I just cursed myself, but that's totally fine. It was just bad. One of you was going to be dead before Menhirs will even finish it. Well, not quite, but almost. Oops. There we go. This is the last wave. Mediator. Yeah. Fire damage. The Shard of Astrakarn, which is actually interesting, but it is an offhand, so we're not going to actually... I'm sorry, it's a single-hand item. Pardon me. Single-hand weapon. Offhand. What am I talking about? I'm thinking of that other stupid thing that I can't remember the name of off the top of my head now. Either way, definitely a brain cramp. Don't quote me on that. Well, you can quote on the fact that I have a brain cramp, but... Alright, I've just gotten in here's Will up. I have Arcane Wheel triggered. We're just gonna... Yep, there we go. Hold up, brother. Now, the question is, do we necessarily want to be equipping this? The short answer is... we could really potentially make this work very well. How? Well, you'll notice the heaps and huge amounts of cold damage we can potentially do here. So there is that. We also have an interesting... You know, I think I'm going to go for this. I think we can make this work really well. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop on back to Devil's Crossing. We're going to have a magical time here. We are going to store the Superior Mutant Bludgeon. It's too powerful to not store at the very least. We're going to sell the rest of this stuff that isn't epic because, quite frankly, we've already checked all of this stuff and it's just not worth it. No, we want the helmet, though. Flesh Warped Cask. Oh, wait, which one was it? Hold on. Which one of these was it? This one is the selling one. I remember because it had the shorter list. I don't know why I kept the sword there. Yeah. Nope, we're good. Okay. So we'll be looking to equip... That's not it. I already moved it over. Whoops. We'll be looking to equip, the... Store that, so we don't forget that that exists. Where did my Mutant Bludgeon go? Did I accidentally sell that? I bet I did. Oh my goodness. No, I still have it equipped. Pardon me. Alright, so we need to increase cunning. Not a problem. This is why you save up these points. Boom. Alright, so the reason why I'm making this change over the Force Wave setup that I have is because it is so incredibly easy to slap together a extremely effective build for... I forgot to sell that metal right there. You can see it. An extremely effective build. I pulled out some things for my for a character I'm working on. There's nothing that I was going to use with this particular character, so there we go. I can put the gavel in there now. And I've lost my train of thought. Yes, we can focus pretty heavily on the cold damage and have a really terribly interesting time with this. Now, pull out Force Wave, first off. That goes without saying. Slap points into Discord. Now, the question really ultimately becomes, how do we want to play this? These are the questions we must ask. But essentially speaking, we could go really hard into... We could do the Elemental. That would be a fairly interesting time. Definitely want to take out Arcane Wheel, because I'd rather have the full benefit of Iskandras here. Finish off Absolute Zero. Now the question really is, how do I want to play this? I'm trying to think, do I even want to go into the fire damage? Well, yeah, because, well, I don't necessarily need to. We can pull this out. Why can I not? Oh, I don't have the iron bits for this. Fair enough. Alright. It's from all the adjustments I've been doing. Alright. Well, I can't afford to pull... Well, I probably could sell a couple of things for a bit of cash. This, for instance, even though that's only 20 because I'm not going to use it with this character and I can't put it in my transfer stash. That's not nearly enough. We don't want to sell these, so we'll just go ahead and sell some of my, Do I really want to pull this out, though? Probably, yeah. At least for the time being. So we'll sell... not Monster Infrequents, because those are really nice. I'm sure we've got some repeats in here. We have 2 of these, so we can pull that out and sell one of those. We've got 2 of these. Now I'm not even considering the potential repeats from other characters. I do know I have them. We have 2 of these, so that's silly. We have 2 of these. We have so many of these. Pretty sure we have... That's an empowered, though. Any of these empowered? No. We're good then. Uh-huh. We'll just sell these. Now, if you're having a heart attack, you definitely don't have a stash yet. Like a big amount of these, because you're going to see a lot of these all over the place. Do I even necessarily... Well, yeah. Do I need that? I should have that. Yeah, no. We're fine with this. Really? Okay. How many points do I have in that, anyways? Alright, so we'll just slap out a couple of other things here. Nothing here, though. We'll grab... Well, I already know I have one of these. I have a whole... I know I have more of those, more of those. I've got another one of these lying around. I've got 50 of these. I have 50 of these. I remember this. I don't know how many of those I have. I have 50 of these on other characters. I just gave one of those to my mother. I have 50 of these. I have a gazillion spirit cannons. We'll sell that too. Yes, this is the only downside of Improv, is it can get hideously expensive, which is fine. It is a good opportunity to clear out some of the trash that I've picked up. It's just the stuff that you pick up all over the place. Any experienced player knows exactly the pain I'm going through right now, all this stuff lying around. I'm going to go hard into this, and we're going to go hard into Frozen Core. Now, I'm not necessarily sure I want to go all the way to Shattered Star. It's my least... It's not something I'm fond of. The 12% chance of extra damage isn't wow enough for me, so we might not go for that. What I do need, though, is a delicious cold stone. I believe I have one lying around my inventory. Well, I could do the lightning as well, so that would be fairly interesting, because we've got the cold stone, we have the attuned lodestone, which I can't actually put on this. We have the regular cracked lodestone, which I kind of want... Hold on. Chilling presence, chilling weapons. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and do that, so we can really stack that goodness up. Let me see. I am kind of contemplating slapping on an attuned lodestone onto my metal here. So we'll do that, because that's just a good time. And, because it's not like I have a shortage of attuned lodestones. I've got 44 of them, so I can definitely spare that. And what we're going to do now is go ahead and set up all of this. We're going to go ahead and reorganize this. Slap on Chilling Presence, slap on Chilling Weapons. We're going to put Trozan's Sky Shard here. We need a Scondra's here. We are going to do such huge amounts. We're going to put Alexa's Flash Freeze there. Brutal Shield Slam there. Clear this slot. I don't think there's anything else I need. Nope. So we're going to go, at least for the time being, with a full die-hard ice build. Ice and lightning, technically, but mostly ice. Eventually, assuming I keep this, which I'm not going to because it's only level 50, we're going to be going all the way to a very interesting and enjoyable cold lightning build. So we've already talked to you, so that's not necessary. Pardon me. So just have to destroy some blood carts that'll be hanging around. Watch as I tear through the world. Now, the reason why I was okay with taking off all of the, taking off Calidor's Tempest, despite how amazingly effective it is with the other combination, with Electra's Flash Freeze, is because with the amount of damage Electra's Flash Freeze is going to do, combined with Trozan's Sky Shard and Cadence, you can see I straight up don't really need it. This is the way I'm set up now is just so insanely damaging on cold and lightning damage that there is just no longer a need for Calidor's Tempest. Eventually, like I said, if I continue on with this cold damage build, I will eventually re-pick up Calidor's Tempest simply because I can put the fire damage on it to good use. And, of course, again, there is the knockback from Wrath of Agravix that I can use to really bolster its knockback and damage output. It's incredibly powerful with Electra's Flash Freeze. I'm never going to deny that, and I don't think anyone can. But right now I need to focus on the cold and lightning damage because I can really put out huge amounts of damage with this weapon in that specific direction. So we are going to probably be using this in the long term. Like I said, once you get past level 50, stuff tends to stick for a longer amount of time once you equip something past level 50. The Mutant Bludgeon was a stopgap, but this is going to be, at least for the time being, more powerful than the Mutant Bludgeon would be for a very long time. So basically at this point I will probably work my way towards Star Pact, because that's going to be another absolutely massive bonus, and then start going in on my essential plan here is to finish up Frozen Core. I'll probably grab Overload simply because I know for a fact it's going to be really hugely useful later on. And I am going to be doing lots of Frostburn damage. I don't really do any kind of Electrocute. Eventually I'll be grabbing Inferno for the the regular burn damage. Elemental Balance will be really nice. This will make Electra's Flash Freeze deal damage way past the freeze. That'll be huge. So I'll finish this out. I'm going to finish out Frozen Core, and then I'm going to probably just blitz my way to Star Pact. I kept these on. This is about as far as I'll go here. I really don't need anything else here. If I have spare points, I'm not sure. It depends on what I build later on. I'll probably go into Shield Training, possibly Overguard, and maybe Veterancy if I can get there. It depends. But it's not... It'll be interesting to see. This is actually... I'm going to take this over the one that I currently have because that does Physical and Elemental, and this offers me better resistances. I know I'm overcapped on all of these. Well, I'm not overcapped on Bleeding, so we're actually going to leave that temporarily. I didn't notice I wasn't overcapped on Bleeding. That's for pets, so we don't care. That's a two-handed weapon, so we don't care. I'm only taking this for the selling because obviously I am broke. So, but like I said, I probably won't be changing from this setup for a long time if I do at all. This is so far pretty nice. Again, since I am improving, I am not using anything else that I have from other characters, so if I don't find anything else that'll do more damage than this will be a very long-term build, but that's fine, because for this particular combination of Soldier and Arcanist, it's a really sweet flex. I can flex this out very easily to incorporate any kind of Soldier adaptation that I need, so it's a good time. I don't have any problem. This is actually an almost ideal scenario in all honesty. This is really nice. So we'll have to see how we actually take this in future. But for now, that's my plan for the time being. Now let me see. This particular little area here isn't that large. Actually, I've already covered like half of it. I don't know why I crossed that bridge. I really didn't need to. I'm about to hit level 53. I'm just going to put that into the Frozen Core. I believe that is, yeah, Frozen Core. And we will go right on ahead and go with that. And then I'll finish up the Escondra's setup because that's always useful. They'll just mostly die and then we'll just whack you. There we go. Now, I didn't need to put Cadence into the elemental damage. I did so because at this particular point, the ice damage of that is being massively boosted. So it was really a matter of, yes, I do get the physical resistance. We're not going to repair this right now. We'll come back to this much later. There's no need to go down there right now. But keep that in mind. Don't forget that. That's somewhere we'll come back to much later. Another one of these? I'm pretty sure I almost sold that, but, you know, whatever. You know, if I was a Necromancer Arcanist, that would have been sweet. Nope. Specifically, why, though? No resistances. And pets. And chaos resistance, but I can get that if I just find the shoulder guards anyways. If I would actually equip them, that would be an interesting question. Mirror of Ariakes is something I might also put on in the future as well. I don't need it now. Again, obviously, I'm freezing people for such a long period of time, and I'm hitting them so hard with Trozans that Mirror of Ariakes isn't currently necessary, but it does work very well with these because it is doing lightning retail, so I'm pretty sure it's boosted. I've never been sure if retaliation damage is boosted. Like, if I boost lightning damage, is my lightning retail boosted too? I think it is. But, don't necessarily quote me on that. It's one of the few areas of this game that I'm really uncertain about. Is specifically how retaliation damage works when you're boosting it up. Otherwise, I just absolutely tear through people. That was an interesting... Was that? Yeah. That is a hugely powerful... That's awesome. Now, the reason why this is awesome is because this is specifically an Occultist's Bloodsworn Scepter of the Cabal. Occultist means that it's increasing... I believe it is specifically increasing destruction here, if I'm remembering correctly. And the Cabal is definitely increasing Terrifying Gaze. I'm pretty sure that's what those keywords are. But it's boosting 2 other Occultist abilities. So this is the purest form of Occultist damage that you can get your hands on, which is amazing. That is a hugely awesome Bloodsworn Scepter. I was almost called it a Bloodsworn Mace, but I knew that was wrong. Because it looks like a mace to me. It doesn't look like a scepter. So I always called them maces. I know it's wrong, but it's a terrible habit I've gotten into. And I can't break it now. Hello. That'll be really good for the Occultist Shaman I'm working on with my family. That'll be a good time. I've missed a wagon. Oh no, I think I know where it is. You guys are just toast. Yeah, there it is. I was going to say, I haven't been down here yet, so it has to be down here. There we go. Nice. Beautiful. I don't know why I bothered trying to freeze you again. That was unnecessary. I'll freely admit. Now, there's some people down here I haven't whacked that I want to in order to try to get to 53 before I even walk into the final dungeon. There we go. Oathkeeper's Bloodsworn Scepter, Arcanist's Bloodsworn Scepter. You'll love to see them. The little keywords for different classes. I don't mind them. They can be really nice if you're working with a specific combination. It depends on how... Really, ultimately, it depends on the other items you have. For example, I can tell you that the Oathkeeper's Bloodsworn Scepter is a pretty good time because the Occultist and the Oathkeeper do work really well with each other. Same thing with the Arcanist. And the Occultist, they work really well together, so I don't really have much of a problem with that. The fastest way would actually be this way. So, it depends on what skills are being increased and potentially what other items you have equipped, because as you can see, this doesn't convert any damage from one ability to another, but say this does. 100% of Sickle of Consumption's fire damage converted to chaos damage, as an example. So it does kind of depend on what else you're doing. So, you can just relax. That's just easier. Alright. We're not quite done with that because remember it is being boosted by 3, so we'll probably put the next 2-ish levels into that. Now we'll just talk with Ulgrim, and then I believe we talked to Ulgrim. Do we? No, he's already down there. Let me just go in. This is the final dungeon. I'm hitting just now. I'm hitting an hour, but it's just such a quick. It really is such a small dungeon. So linear. There'll be a little bit of confusion at the beginning because it's a little bit odd at the start, but then rapidly changes. And it's, at this point, because of the... What is this called again? The Shard of Astrakarn. It's just going to be absolutely insanely quick to get through, because I can just whack all of these dudes every day of the week. I could theoretically craft a relic that would increase my cold damage further, but Zeal increases all of my damage types, so it just doesn't matter. I mentioned this when I first built it, that it just flexes into whatever I do, which is fantastic. So we're just going to leave things the way they are. I don't even think I need to be here for the rest of that. Yeah. Your summoning fails to impress me. Changed my mind. Yep. There we go. I was wondering where the door went. Just gonna go ahead and blast you guys. None of them converted into demons. Alright, fair enough. I was kind of expecting them to, which is why I blasted them first. That way, by the time they were done transforming into demons, Trozan's Skyshard would be back up, and I could just absolutely blast them to smithereens again. Nope, not necessary. Just slap everyone around. I don't even get the chance, so I walk up to them, they die to the cold. Nice. Money. Something I desperately need. Okay. Too strong, too strong. My power is overwhelming. I can't even hit them with my sword. Actually, technically it's a dagger, but whatever. Yeah. We'll just activate this so you chumps can do whatever. Give me a challenge. I think it's a little late for them to be giving me a challenge. Absolutely slap fools. Gun, the Lick Guard. That, really? Well, I suppose. That makes some sense. I was going to say, that weak sauce, I was thinking of the, Wendigo Shield. One-handed sword, Fire's Might, fire and physical, Again, not really enough resistances here, just elemental, which it already is providing. That's silly. That's also silly. That would have been good when I was doing physical damage, but still wouldn't beat out the Royal Exuberance at this point in time. So we'll just waltz on through. Freeze you. You'll just die. Just slap my way really quick through. What is this mess? Nobody asked for all this. Sit down. Here we go. Look, y'all need to quit becoming demons. It's not doing you any good. Okay. We'll just have all of those miss. The only downside of Trozan's Skyshard. Its greatest weakness. Door frames. Why did I do that? I can just do this. That's a totally different... Is that a gun? No, that's a giant sword. That is fine. Boom. You're not even going to live, so I can just move on with my life. Didn't even drop anything good. Nonsense, but I'll take your food ration anyways. Because I'm greedy and hungry all the time, apparently. And down we go. There's a very interesting secret down here. Have to twist a torch. It's a good time. Can't remember if you have to read a particular book for that or not. I can't remember. I don't think so. But I could be wrong. There's this secret here. No, this is... Yeah, this is a secret. I forget about this secret constantly. I actually didn't remember this one until I accidentally hovered over it. I always forget that secret, honestly. I mean, it was clearly a palooza of greatness. Fantastic items. It's always worth a check, though. That's the secret in there. You can see it. These guys will just die. Yes, here we go. You don't have to do anything with this. There we go. You don't have to read anything, excuse me. Also, it's a handy shortcut. Other than having to go all the way around. That's for pets and therefore useless. That's not got good enough resistances to tempt me. We move on. A dilapidated urn. Nice. And ta-da! And you bring your friends in just to die. I haven't even needed to use... There we go. Oh! Get off your own case. There we go. We'll just waltz over here. Freeze all you idiots. You look like you're going to survive it, so we'll get rid of you really quick. Downstairs is the next area, so we're going to go over here really quick. Kill you because you're hanging around. Just take care of you really quick. That's not even a problem. You also do lightning damage, which isn't going to do beans against me, so there's that. Hold on. There's definitely more people chasing me than I thought there was going to be. We don't want anyone dying off screen because you don't get any credit for people who die off screen. At least not that I've ever received. So you gotta be a little bit careful about that. I'm just gonna lure you in here with the rest of your friends here. There we go. Oh, yeah. Ta-da! Blam. Gone. You guys are absolutely toast. There we go. Problems? There's no problems here. All I see are dead heretics. Ha ha ha. Holy music begins. No, I'm not gonna add in holy music because that'll probably be copyrighted. I wouldn't be surprised. Vitality resistance. Hello. How you doing? You doing alright? That's good. You feeling silly? Yeah? Wanna activate Linger's Will? I knew you could do it. I knew you had it in you. And goodbye. And... yep, that's fire damage, which we're not currently doing. And although this is lightning damage, it is also internal trauma damage, which we're not currently doing. Maybe in the future that would be useful, but by that time we'll find something better anyways, so it's really not worth the equip. Now, does this go over here like it's supposed to? Theoretically? Yeah, okay, good. Gather up, me hearties. There we go. Very nice. My attuned lodestone really doing in some work. Damage over time? Sure, just more opportunities to zap. Always magical. You're just silly. There you go. And off we go. We are halfway done with the final level. Normally this would be, you know, at least a bit more difficult than this, but my setup is incredible right now. I've been very fortunate with my item drops. Throughout most of the... well, my item drops have been fortunate in very random amounts. Like, I'll get the once in a while great treasure, and then I'll go absolute ages in some kind of item drought and get absolutely nothing useful at all, as you've seen. This is a common experience. A lot of people have this. There's some people who are just absolutely blessed and get all kinds of awesome things all in a heap pretty much all the time. And then there's the people who are absolutely cursed and get absolutely nothing useful for the person they're actually playing as. They get items for characters they're not playing as, which eventually, given long enough, does work out really nicely. But if you're trying to do an improv run, it's it's not good. But I've been I'll take what I've been given. It's been really nice so far. The game has been very nice to me thus far, setting me up for absolutely tons of success with some fantastic items. I actually have the whole Royal Exuberance set on one character, which doesn't happen to me very often. I've only been able to do this with 2 other characters, which is not a lot considering how long I've played this game. So there is that. Just slap all you guys. It's fine. And boppity bop. This is where it gets a little bit confusing at the start here, because there's 50 billion different pathways you can take, but they all eventually lead to the same place. Again, I'm only going to go through it for showing you. You probably guessed that. You probably saw that coming. But people need to see it, so here we go. Besides, I want to really flex my amazing setup here. I love this to bits. People underestimate this class combination, honestly. It's an incredible class combination, Soldier Arcanist. So many possibilities. Not as many as Occultist typically offers, or Shaman. Shaman offers a lot more interesting builds. Occultist is just one of my favorite classes. I just decided to go with this old standby of really... I don't know why I used an energy potion there. That was just a reflex for some reason. But I decided for the walkthrough build that I should use... You know, I'm just going to go this way. I should use something very tanky so that way if people do decide, hey, I want to copy this build, they'll have something that'll help them survive to see more of the late game, something that they can easily adapt to their own playstyle, something that they can, you know, play around with very easily and not necessarily have to spend copious amounts of iron bits. I've only done so because of my incredible luck in a variety of items and having a variety of different builds that I can play effectively. Now that I've got the Shard of Astrakarn, and considering I am over level 50, this is probably going to... The actual swapping around of builds is very likely going to, like I said, slow down considerably. I'm not going to be adjusting my build as much now that I'm over 50. First off, leveling up takes longer, first off, so there's that. Second off, items that you'll be getting aren't necessarily going to be effective for your combination. Items are going to start becoming... At least epic items are going to become a bit more hyper-focused on a particular idea, a particular concept. This is really why people generally tend to build around items. If you're new and you don't really understand what a build, or how builds typically form, they form around some item, usually a level 94 item, or higher, possibly, that is awesomely powerful that they can focus a build around. And I do sometimes do this, but I don't necessarily do it the same way that other people do it. I'm going to take an example. The Occultist Shaman combination that I'm working on is specifically inspired by Barog's Bloody Arm, which is a monster infrequent dropped by the very first boss in the game. Barog. He's that guy under that giant tree in right outside of Devil's Crossing. So his arm increases bloody pox, it increases savagery. Alright, it is also a single-hand melee weapon. So it also finally, as the final thing it does, it increases bleeding damage of savagery and bloody pox and bleeding damage in general. So my 3 rules for that character were: 1, focus on bleeding damage. 2, use savagery. 3, use savagery and bloody pox. And 3, single-hand melee weapons. I have no restrictions on that character of what is equipped in the left hand, so I currently have a shield equipped with the character at around level 30 right now, but I could just as easily swap that into an offhand, and it would still be fine. So, with the idea behind specifically bleeding damage, I am currently going for a vitality bleeding heavy combination, but I could very easily switch that over to a pet personal hybrid kind of class. I know, the dreaded hybrid personal pet build. Eee. Veteran players cringe. But it can work if you're careful with it, and if you get the right items. I'm not necessarily playing that improv, though. That is not an improv class. It is something I am, or an improv character. It is just something I'm playing around with because I haven't done it in a while. And I certainly haven't done it since they overhauled the itemization. So I am kind of curious to see how it will work out in the long term and really play around with the idea, especially since I know a lot of people don't like the hybrid pet personal builds, and I haven't done one in a while, so I want to see just how effective can I make this. It's sort of a self-challenge, if you will. Eventually I'll unveil the combination. At some point in the future, I might rerun it half improv. Maybe. Or maybe not improv at all. I might actually make that into my own build guide, which would be fairly interesting. Or I may not. So it really will depend on what's going on there. But it's definitely there's several ideas floating around that I'm kind of playing with in my head. And as you can see, this area is I'm honestly already almost at the end, so it's not that big of a deal here. I'm just exploring around so you can see how potentially confusing this area can be. I'm just going to go down this dead end in the hopes of loot. I've been pretty lucky so far, so why not? Also, I want to see if I can hit 54 after finishing the main campaign. That'd be kind of nice. Set me up really nicely for Malmouth. Which is always a beautiful time. Also, Clownian Seals of Binding, which I am so hungry for. I had such a shortage earlier today. It was disgusting. I had to bum a dozen of them off of my mother, actually. Terrible. Yeah, slap me all you want. It's not going to matter. This guy's tough. This guy's actually, in my opinion, tougher than the actual final boss. Personally. Yeah, you summon your dude. See how much that's going to help. You haven't even activated. There's Menhirs. There's Menhirs. I actually, because of the way my build is set up, can mostly ignore his little dude in the background because I can just freeze him most of the time. You need to stop moving around, dude. Honestly. There goes your guy. Oh, now we have a problem. Yeah, I got a little cocky there. Mirror Varioctes would have been nice for that specific moment. Should have put down a rift, but I didn't. That was very arrogant of me. But it's not that long of a trip. I might speed this up for you. Now, the reason I died, to kind of intro this beforehand, is very simple. I did not go back and craft a resistance potion, and I should have, considering my chaos resistance is only 50%, and I didn't check. Again, arrogance. So first off, we already know that all the green stuff, we've been checking it the whole time. I might keep some of these scepters, because those are pretty... nah, we'll get more of those. This one I want to keep, but that's about it. The rest of these can go. Hold on. No, that's standard. Sorry, it looked a little weird to me. That's not worth it. So we'll stash these really quick. But yeah, I didn't craft... Where is it? That's not it. This. Riftstone. There we go. That is something I should have had. And we'll slap this in here, slap this in here. We have so much more room now. Ta-da! I think that's the second time I've forgotten to sell that metal. No, it's not. I sold it. It just happens to be in the same place as another metal. Alright, so in we go. But yeah, it is, if you know what kind of damage type a boss is going to do to you, you really should be drinking the potions unless you're already, like, absolutely overcapped on particular resistance. If I drunk the potion ahead of time, he would not have killed me. It would have been close, definitely, but he would not have killed me. Also, the fact that he's standing next to this gate is somewhat concerning. There we go. That's interesting. Blade of Thunder. Okay. I've seen better of those. Alright, is this actually? No. Physical damage, I'm not doing that right now. Rotting Fumes is not a skill I see often. We can go over here for these guys. For a bit more experience from the book. I'm not likely to hit level 54 after I kill the final boss. Honestly, though, looking at my experience level beforehand, I probably wasn't that likely in the first place, but clearly wishful thinking was in effect there. Read this for the experience. Yes, that was a weak sauce chest. We won't talk about it. Those tentacles, by the way, if they slap you, they do hurt. That red rift just brings you back out. Yeah, Ogre. This guy is not as dangerous as he looks like he would be. There's a whole lot going on that honestly doesn't matter too much. We're just going to health potion a little bit early here. We have an excessively large amount of health potions. It's just so... It's a surprisingly large amount of physical damage, so if you have a good amount of regular armor, you're in a pretty good position. Chaos resistance, obviously, doesn't even do piercing or anything. It's basically just chaos, vitality, and physical damage. Oh, yeah. I forgot that this happens. I know why this happens, and this has an effect later on, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. I mean, at this point, once we kill those two guys, the rest of these guys just are not that problematic. I don't even think he's hit Menhir's Will once. No, he hasn't. Alright, now you're becoming a bit annoying. A little bit of poison acid damage. Not enough really to be majorly concerned about. Come on, there you go. Don't know why I couldn't target him for a second there, but it doesn't matter. Mostly it's just a damage sponge, really. He just takes a while to kill. Oh, he finally got Menhir's Will. I probably could have health potioned that anyways, but it's kind of whatever. Honestly, Philonis is more dangerous than this guy is. I mean, this is a very visually flashy fight. It's very interesting to look at, definitely, but in terms of actual difficulty, it's... Although, to be also fair, I have most of my resistances capped that he does. Aether's a little low. My chaos resistance is artificially increased by the potion, which helps. Mirror Variacnes does amazing against this guy, because he just slaps you and basically kills himself on you. It's amazing. Now we're going to open up our chests, which... I mean, that's a great mace for those of us who are going with a full pet occultist, or at least a half pet occultist, but we're not doing that. That's a fairly interesting mace, but it's not nearly as good as the shard. Vitality and poison, we don't care. That's two-handed sword, we don't care. And these would be great if I was doing a combination physical elemental build. That'd be fantastic. We're gonna have a cutscene pretty soon that I'm not gonna care about. Ooh. We're just gonna waltz up here. Do it cinematically. So yeah, that was the final boss. The final boss I've always found to be just damage spongy, not necessarily actually difficult. I'm gonna skip the cutscene if you want to see that. You will see that obviously on your own playthrough. I'm not here for the plot or the story. I'm here as a walkthrough, so we're just going to pass right over that. And we'll just... Yes. We'll skip this. You gave me this, which... Thanks. Definitely seen better items there. Yeah, you're gonna give me... Yep, that's fine. Yes, that's delightful. Alright, so I am gonna check in with Anastasia to see if she's going to give me another quest. I believe she does, because I'm respected by her at this point. How close am I to honored, out of curiosity? 2/3. I'm a 1/3 of the way there. Yeah, here we go. Yes. Now we would theoretically want to go into that area and get the obsidian, but we can do that a little bit later. I'm going to do that next episode. What I want to focus on right now is really quickly want to go to Devil's Crossing and show you this. Now, this is plot related to the Malmouth DLC. This is part of the reason why we're going to Malmouth in the first place, is to wipe out the Ethereals, because they're holed up in Malmouth. That's the plot here, if you're wondering why this happened. In summary, the important thing that I wanted to come here for was to show you that the skill person died during that whole escapade. So if you want to readjust your skill points, you have to go to the Conclave of the Three. The reason why I'm making a point of showing this to you is because... no, hold on. I don't necessarily want to sell the... Yeah, I do. That's pretty trash. The reason why I made a point of showing this to you is because if you are going to buy the Malmouth DLC and you don't want to potentially have a problem where you can't adjust your skill points, the Forgotten Gods DLC will give you that ability to do so. So if you buy the Malmouth DLC, go for the Forgotten Gods as well, because that is your only option of adjusting your skill points until you get... I can't remember where specifically. So, now we're going to... before I end the episode, I do want to show you specifically where the Malmouth DLC is, where you have to go for this. And it's this way. I almost took the wrong path, but it's fine. And we'll just go on ahead. Oops, you sealed that off. Again, because this is veteran difficulty, we're gonna ignore all these guys. They're gonna basically just die to whatever standard retaliation damage I've got. Did I ever assign a last const? Yeah, I did. Okay. So yeah, on elite, unless you're massively overleveled, you could still fight your way through here and go ahead and deal with this. Okay, you're just all gonna be a problem. So we'll just get rid of you all because you're just blocking the road. Very inconvenient of you. I'm just going to waltz up here. And this right here. You blast through this. You waltz through here. You fight this Aether dude, which, granted, I don't have the Aether resistance to really be doing effectively. So, but it's not that big of a deal. Activate that health potion. I should be able to kill him clean right here. Yeah. We're fine. Yeah, that's just a taste of the amount of... There's going to be a moment... Well, there's going to be more than a moment. There's going to be quite a decent bit of time before you really start to see heavy amounts of Aether damage, but he should be an indication to you of how much Aether resistance you really need to catch up on, because there's going to be a lot more Aether damage in the future. Right now, though, it's going to be mostly vitality, bleeding, physical, piercing, internal trauma damage from the Wendigos, and random other bits of damage that are sparse. There's some random cold damage from ghost crabs. There's poison and acid from the plants. it's an interesting, kind of diverse area to go through, but the heaviest amounts of damage are definitely vitality and bleeding. So keep that in mind when you're wandering through here. By this point, though, a majority of the resistances should be in pretty good shape. For example, my character only has a weakness for Aether damage, which isn't going to come in effect quite yet. I'm just going to get to the first rift here, so you can see basically how far along we have to go in here. And it should be a little past this bridge. There should be a merchant as well. Yeah, it's about... Yeah, it's not that far. Spooky ghosts. Spooky ghosts die very easily to cold, apparently. Which makes no sense, but sure. There's the rift. So... By the way, if you play a shaman and you're wondering what this Wendigo stuff is all about, yeah, these guys that I'm killing, these things, these are Wendigos. Either partly or fully. So that's basically what they're talking about here. Just so you have that kind of point of reference, that context, so to speak. And then right over here, there's some people you can talk to. There's a merchant you can sell at if you really want to. Excuse me. Oh, that's just a random invincible plant. They happen. This guy, again... Not really a huge amount. There's, at this particular point, usually this merchant, but not necessarily only this merchant, it is at this point that you really are able to be open to the idea of purchasing new items. Because if you have, say for example, I'm actually going to use myself as an example right now. I have weak pants. My pants are level 34. They've been outdated for ages. But I haven't found anything better, and this clearly isn't better either. This shield? Nope. Shield block chance, offensive and defensive ability, elemental resistances I clearly don't need right now. My gloves, outdated. These gloves, trash. Obviously I'm cursing my shopping, but if you are lagging behind on your equipment, now is really the point at which you can look through inventories and have a serious think about, well, should I buy this? Because at this particular junction, yeah, maybe you can get away with buying this. By the way, this is the reason, I forgot to mention this when I was through here earlier, this other merchant also dies, which is why it's important to get Luther Graves. I don't care about that, my shoulders are fine. Yeah, so he's not offering me anything. I'm going to go to the Conclave of the 3 really quick so you can see where you would have to go. And that's the really nice thing about the Conclave of the 3 is that you could open this area up pretty much any time after you kill Krieg, which is fairly substantially important. So you can get through here and get access to, first off, this merchant, second off, another blacksmith if you really need it, third off, and more importantly, the skill adjuster, who is kicking around over here. They are right here specifically. So if you need to adjust your skills, you have to do it here now, at least until you get to a certain point in Malmouth. I can't remember which one off the top of my head because I just always come back here by default. So that is going to be it for this episode. We'll worry about him later on. He's part of the endgame content. We don't worry about that right now. So that is going to be it for this episode. Thank you very much for joining me. Next time we will be getting the Obsidian, which is in the Necropolis, and I'll talk a little bit about why we wanted to save that up to some extent. Actually, really quick before I end the episode, I noticed I forgot to put something on this. So we are going to want to put something there. I'm going to put some retaliation damage on there because, frankly, it's just nice and tasty. So, yeah, at this particular junction, I'll probably be sticking with just to explain my build a little bit, I'll probably be sticking with the Cold Lightning build, going for Star Pact until probably, I would say, roughly level 70 is very likely how long that'll last. So a good 17 levels from now, easy. And you can see how that'll take me a decent bit of time. I'll probably be an elite by the time I actually have even the potential for a major swing in anything, really. At this particular junction, I'm going to finish up Frozen Core. I'm going to grab the rest of Iskandris here to increase my various damage types, especially Overload, which will become important for Malmouth, and will become important in Elite as well. Not Elite. It will also become important at Ultimate, should I choose to maintain this skill throughout. This will also become vitally important in Ultimate. This will be a very big deal. I'll probably pick up Mirror of Arioctes again at some point in the future, probably after I'm done with at least Overload, which will help me in the short term. So I'm going to finish Frozen Core. I'm going to start working on Overload, which will help me in Malmouth, which is where there's huge amounts of Aether damage, so that Aether resistance will come in clutch. Then I'll work on Mirror of Arioctes, because my current extreme durability, as you have seen, has some limits depending on my resistances, and also, as I progress through, I will need at least something that I can use to kind of make me completely immune for the duration. Actually, might possibly, having a pretty serious think here, it might be more worthwhile. No, probably wouldn't. The overall benefit of Maven Sphere is too huge. So I will get Mirror of Arioctes to kind of get me through the dangerous period of time where I don't have my Menhir's Will up. At that particular point, once I'm done with Mirror of Arioctes, I need to make a decision. Do I want to put points into Caldor's Tempest, Inferno, and Wrath of Agrifix, try to branch out a little bit, or do I wait till Star Pact? Currently, I'm leaning towards waiting till Star Pact so I can convert some of that Aether damage, which I'm not boosting at all, into cold damage, because this boosts fire damage, or it reduces fire resistance, which in turn boosts fire damage, which is fine. This boosts physical damage the same way, it reduces physical resistance, that's fine. Physical damage will be converted to some extent, so if I decided to go into Force Wave or Blitz, I could absolutely do so with no problem. But Caldor's Tempest, the Aether damage I'm not really doing anything with, so converting that to cold damage would be a much bigger deal. So I'll probably wait to go into Caldor's Tempest until I have Star Pact, or if I decide I want to splash some physical in here, maybe I want to get Fighting Form and Deadly Momentum. Well, that is all converted 100%, so actually that wouldn't work. But if I wanted to go into Blade Arc, I don't see why I would want to, but conceptually, then I would want to wait till Star Pact. So I'm going to finish Frozen Core, go into Overload, go into Mirror of Arioctes, probably grab Elemental Balance, just for the extra duration of Frostburn and the extra crit damage. After all, I do have Inner Focus increasing my offensive ability, I have Overload increasing my offensive ability. That all translates to higher critical rates. This, of course, this does extra critical damage. It might actually be worthwhile for me to go into Shattered Star with Elemental Balance, because that would be crit on crit, which is huge. So it might possibly be worth it to get Shattered Star, even though I'm not normally fond of it. It might really be worth it. I definitely want Mental Alacrity, just for the energy that it'll get me. Well, it depends on how bad my energy consumption is at that point. Because I'm not going into Albrecht's Aether Ray ever, so that may not necessarily be as necessary. And then I'll just go all the way to Star Pact and grab Star Pact and really hit even harder. The skill cooldown reduction is also pretty huge, considering the skill cooldown of Alexa's Flash Freeze and Trozan's obviously just make the whole thing a lot faster. So that's really what I'm talking about here with this setup. I'll probably, in all probability, I will most likely be maintaining this setup, this idea, this particular path until at least level 70, barring any particularly fascinating drops and depending on how I want to play this in the future. But that's what I'm leaning towards currently. So with that being said, thank you all very much for joining me. And if you have any comments, suggestions, questions, ideas, please leave them down in the comments below. I do read them. And as always, if you liked this, please like and subscribe and have a great 24 hours.